Hey everyone, I'm Rebecca McLaughlin-Duane, and this week we're in the heart of Sharjah, the historic preservation area of the Emirate. From here, we'll take you on a tour of a contemporary Arabic calligraphy exhibition and speak to a master of the ancient art form. Plus, we visit the archaeological site of Meleha to retrace the footsteps of people who used to live in Sharjah during the Stone Age. But first, major news in the UAE is that the cabinet has granted 100% foreign ownership of companies, plus 10-year residency visas to some professions. Salim Saeed investigates what this means for competition and foreign direct investment.
The UAE is the only country in the region to be in the top 10 of the World Competitive Yearbook for 2018, moving up from 28th position 7 years ago and overcoming countries like Canada and Norway. The annual report recognized that the UAE topped key categories worldwide, including government decision and international talent. The latest important law to be announced, shared on social media by the UAE's Vice President, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, will allow 100% foreign ownership of companies in the UAE for the first time, therefore reducing the barriers to entry for many entrepreneurs, and in particular startups and tech companies.
It has two very important implications. The first one is that this will allow firms to come in without thinking they are risking their intellectual property. The second one is when foreign firms come to China and they have to partner up with local businesses. Culture is one of the main reasons why they end the partnership sooner than expected.
The UAE's GDP is forecast to be around 3% in 2019. And as Dubai in particular forges ahead with its plans to build a post-oil emirate, the recent federal legislation could provide an extra boost to key sectors. Also providing further support is the news that for the first time, UAE residency visas will be given to foreign investors and specialists in the fields of science, technology and medicine for up to 10 years.
You need to retain and attract talent, and with the limited visa that is currently in play, 2 years or 3 years, you cannot retain talent within the country. So once you give them the 10 years residency, combined with the 100% ownership, you're basically giving them the right environment.
The new residency rules are also geared to retaining young talent, applying to university students who, instead of leaving immediately after completing their studies, now have the luxury of time to interview and secure employment in the UAE.
While some of the oldest forms of Arabic calligraphy date back to the 7th century, today the popular practice is moving with the times. And that's been brought to light by the Sharjah Museums Authority in a modern exhibition called Beyond the Letter. Coinciding with a calligraphy biennale, which will run in the UAE for another month, the Islamic Arts Museum Malaysia teamed up with organisers in Sharjah to display many never-seen-before pieces by some of the most prominent calligraphers in the world. Key artists include Egypt's Ahmed Mustafa, whose pieces have hung on the walls of the British Museum and the Vatican's University in Rome. And representing Japan is an award-winning Arabic calligrapher, Fuad Koichi Honda, a respected and leading authority on the art known for scribing intricate letters on vibrant ombre backgrounds. An aspiring artist with ambitions to one day exhibit alongside the greats is Emirati calligrapher Narges Nureddin. Since the age of 9, she's been practicing designs involving the Arabic alphabet, constantly exploring new ways of fusing classical painting with colourful typography and abstract characters. Her recent works include a cascading metal chandelier and a 3D printed horse made up of the poetry of Dubai's ruler Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum. As modern calligraphy continues to take on new and increasingly avant-garde forms, Narges is inspired by those pushing the artistic envelope in the region. Calligraphy is growing in popularity here in the region, not least with Yazan Halwani, the Lebanese artist. What do you make of social and political statements being put on the side of buildings in calligraphic form?
I think this is the new application of calligraphy. So this artist, in my idea, use his illustration capabilities with letters to create his own work, and this is attract people.
To perfect her written works, Narges has been tutored for years by master calligrapher Khaled Al-Sai. A curator, artist, and world-famous expert in his field, Khaled's pieces have been shown in the world's leading European, American, and Middle Eastern cultural institutions. Much of his work has been inspired by his Syrian homeland and the poetry of Khalil Gibran, plus the literature of Dylan Thomas. His pieces flit between two types of calligraphic scripts, that of Tulth and the Ottoman Divani style. And particularly inspiring to his pupils, no doubt, is that their teacher is no longer confining his creative visions to canvas or ceramics. He's even taken to writing on water. Khaled, thank you for speaking to Inspire Middle East. Welcome to Euronews.
Hello.
In 1997, you were named one of the top 10 best calligraphers in the world at a festival in Tehran. What do you think it is about your style that earned you that accolade?
I think to do something beyond the traditional, beyond the classic calligraphy. This is what I did, because usually traditional calligraphy, it has certain rules, certain method. I tried to broke that by introducing a new technique, a new color, and new compositions. And the most important thing, trying to transfer the whole poem or the verse into a visual aspect.
You've taught calligraphy workshops at leading institutions all over the world, including Yale in the United States. How is it being taken up and adopted by people outside of this region?
I think the most important thing, the way of communication, how to find the link with people and with audience. So it's a different mentality, different people, maybe different religion, different background. So that's important to know the way they think and the way they absorb art and they appreciate it.
Traditionally, pupils of calligraphy would be taught by mirroring their master's cursive and angular writing. Is that the way that you choose to teach?
No, I have a very different way of teaching, you know. But traditional calligraphy, we still have that tradition in many different institutions, like in Sharjah and Turkey, Egypt, and Morocco. And nowadays, there's some artists, they have something in mind. They want to learn calligraphy for a certain purpose, not only to be a traditional calligraphers.
Calligraphy has emerged and evolved in many different ways throughout the centuries, through Turkey, through China, and the Middle East, of course. Do you see that continuing?
I think it's more about the medium. For example, we get over than 200 different Kufic script. So imagine this range, and among of that, you can write any single word with over than 1,000 different forms. But it's really important how the artist could do his own version, and then they do it with the traditional tools, some of them on canvas, or maybe as a sculpture, could be also on light or 3D effect.
Calligraphy has deep religious roots, it being a form of artistic expression for many Islamic cultures. Do you believe that will remain the case?
It will remain in a certain way for traditional calligraphers, but for different artists, the cases has been changed since maybe 30, 40 years ago. In a way, it's very personal. I left the whole story of religious in a way I can express myself through these mediums. I can do landscape, I can engage with nature, with the divine, with the music. I do interact with a different type of art.
Khaled, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for speaking to Inspire Middle East.
Thank you, with a pleasure.
Some prehistoric sites in Sharjah hold the secrets to how people in the Emirates used to live hundreds of thousands of years ago. Abdul Karim Hanif went along to the village of Mileha, which promises visitors a sneak peek into the past.
If you've ever wanted to step back in time and see how people lived 130,000 years ago, Sharjah's Mileha Centre allows you to do just that. For the past 40 years, archaeologists have been unearthing artifacts and 120 burial grounds from the Paleolithic, Neolithic, Bronze, Iron and pre-Islamic periods. And at Jabal Fire, one of the world's most ancient settlement sites, stone and flint tools from the Stone Age have been found. The evidence of human life here points to people's journey from Africa, across the Red Sea to the Arabian Gulf, and onwards to populate the world through Iran, India, Asia, and Europe.
Indeed, Homo sapiens sapiens, wise men as, did arrive in Malaya, lived here for a certain period of time before migrating on to other parts of the world. And the main reason why they were migrating was because Africa was getting to be too cold.
Malaya has ambitions to secure itself a place on the list of UNESCO World Heritage Sites. And if its nomination is successful, it would join the ranks of 4 locations in the city of Al Ain, which have met the agency's strict criteria.
The final report or file is going to be presented in 2019, and to have this recognition from UNESCO is obviously going to boost your footfall.
Welcomed by Sharjah, as it strives to attract 10 million visitors annually by 2021 and allow people from all over the world to continue to walk the path of ancient Emiratis.
Well, that's a wrap for this week. Before I leave you, here's what caught the attention of the Inspire team on social media. UAE-based Salma jumped for joy at Maliha's archaeological centre in Sharjah during a weekend away. And Dubai dweller Dia worked on this piece of calligraphy for the Year of Zayed celebrations in Ajman.